Welcome to our third content creators meeting. It is April 18th and we are starting at 5:33 today. I am so thankful that you decided to spend this hour and 15 minutes with us today. I am Jenna Picata. I am today acting as the Sergeant of Arms, which I'll be opening and closing the meeting, but we are trying out different formats. So if you were at the very first meeting, in the first meeting, we had a podcaster come and do a speech on and share his expertise. So Solazar was here and he shared his podcasting expertise with us. In the last episode, we had a social media content creator and he shared his journey and advice, and we had a great conversation with some question and answer. And today we are going to try out a new format with Dalal sharing her podcast. So I'm excited about that. And then we would just love any feedback of like what, as we're doing this meeting and trying out different formats, think about what things you like and what things you don't like, or what would you dream up and what would you want out of a content creators Toastmasters community. So with that, I will, let me share my screen. I did put together a couple of things here. One, kind of tied, I'm not going to spoil anything to what Dalal and I were talking about earlier. I like to actually start with social emotional check-ins. I come from the educator world. So I've been in education for 20 years now. And I like to do a check-in. So since this is a small group, I was just wondering if you could just introduce yourself, and I want you to, or if you want to just put it in the chat, or you can pass too, but I want you to think about, are any of you Marvel fans out there? I have to admit, I really was a huge Marvel fan growing up. And then as so many movies started coming out, I really kind of dropped off because there are too many to keep up with. But these are Infinity Stones. And I was in a workshop where they did this check-in. And so I want you, where do you feel most connected to right now? So are you connect with reality, soul, mind, time, space, or power? And I'll share with you right now that today I'm really connecting with soul. And that is because I randomly was invited to a Toastmasters meeting unexpectedly. My cousin just said that she was in a Toastmasters meeting and she was listening to a great speech. And I said, oh, can I join? This Toastmasters club was entrepreneurship. So Pinays are Filipino women. And it excited me to the point where I was thinking, wow, I'm in already two clubs potentially, but I just love being inspired by other people. And I feel the same way about this group. So I'm really connected to this soul Infinity Stone. But I will open this up to anybody else who wants to share. What are you feeling connected to today? And I'm going to put oh, well, no.
I would love to share. I, first of all, really love this concept. It is so cool. So thank you for sharing that. I am wearing orange today, so I feel like I'm connected to soul too. I think that's just what was the calling today. It really felt like that kind of a day. So I'm with you in the soul, and I love what you mentioned about it. For me, I think I'm just enjoying the journey and enjoying being here with everybody today. So I feel like my soul is just like in a mode, you know?
Hey. Anyone else? I will open it up. Yes, Eva.
Yes. So for me, I feel very connected with the mind. And because I learned the concept last week about the dominance, your dominant thoughts will guide you to your objectives. If and it's very interesting and important to check your thoughts even every hour, because we go very distracted to do other things. So I have been doing this exercise already from the last week, every hour thinking, okay, what I am thinking, and align myself and my thoughts to my main objective. So yeah, I can say that is my exercise in the mind. Thank you.
Thank you for sharing. Anyone else out there want to share what they're connected with today? And you can think about it. And if you want to put something in the chat, you can at any point.
All right, I will go.
Yeah,
Oh, somebody's
go
going.
ahead.
Go ahead.
Go ahead.
Yes.
All right. Hey, sorry, Venugopal. I'll be quick. I like colored green. I know it reflects the time, and time is one important thing that we have. I was practicing some mindful meditation. In one segment, it says that the breathing out, you will never get a chance to get back that breath in or do that again. So that's why sometimes I feel that I'm closer to time and color green, but many times we deal with what we have in front of us, which is the reality.
I love it. Thank you for sharing, Uttam. Venu, did you have something?
Yeah, I wasn't sure. So are you guys talking about, because I just came in a few minutes late?
Yeah, we were just talking, we wanted to just do a social emotional check-in with everybody. How are you? What are you feeling most connected to in this moment?
Is it based on the color, what I see here?
Yeah, so there's colors. It could be color, but there's also tied to reality, soul, mind, time, space, and power.
Yeah, so I think today I'm mostly connected to the mind. That's because, there's so much going on, and I'm just connected to it. But really, soul is where I want to connect to, and that's really where I probably be in peace with. And that's why, in the evenings or sometimes when I take a break, I just try to close my eyes and take a deep breath and then see, oh, okay, so let everything, come out, and then, just be relaxed. So that's really, what I usually do when I'm more connected with mind. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Back to you.
Thank you for sharing.
Oh, this is a good exercise. I really like it.
Yeah, I mean, the thing that I love about this is like we really just want to honor you where you are in this moment, because we
Right.
know that there's a lot of things going on.
Right.
And for you to just be here with us today, that's a gift in of itself. And so we appreciate all of you for whatever you're bringing into this space today.
Right. Yep.
All right. Well, if anybody else wants to say anything. Hey, we have Anna joining us. Ritesh, did you have something to add?
Yes, yeah, I was just thinking about the topic and really tried too hard to come up with a response. So today I'm more connected to soul. So yesterday, after a very long time, I watched a movie, and it has like great character development and very unapologetic, way of movie taking. Usually it's entertaining or massy, or like, there are aspects of filmmaking, right? But this particular movie struck a chord on, like, going back to the roots and like caring about yourself or doing things that you care about, right? Well, end of the day, it's you. It's all about you. So, and I haven't slept the last night. So yeah, I'm connected to the soul right now. I'm soul searching and exhausted and excited to be in this exciting group of people. Yeah, thank you
Oh,
for that.
I love it. Thank you. All right. Well, I will, since this is a new group, this is our third meeting, I started to draft up some norms. And I think that eventually, I'm going to put this link back in the chat. I'm going to keep this here. These are just things that I started putting onto this board, but this is a jam board. I figured we can use this until October 1st when it goes away. But if you have any norms that you think of throughout this meeting that you want to add and contribute, we really want this to be a space that works for all of us, where we can agree to all of these things. So I thought of be present, curious and open, make space, take space. Everybody always has the right to pass. Be conscious of your impact and your intent. Sometimes you might have a great intent and then it lands in another way. So just be conscious of that. We're all different. We all bring different perspectives, but that's what's great about this group. So respecting one another's variability and just speak your truth. We honor you for who you are and what you bring to this table. So thumbs up if you agree with these, and you feel free to add anything else that you want to this. And we'll refine this until we have a group of norms that we'll always just have set for every single meeting. But this is our draft version. And I know that I did want to take up just time to make sure that we do this, because we really want to set this up so that we have, really effective, efficient meetings where, it works for all of us. With that, I'm finally going to pass this over to our Toastmasters. So let us give a big warm welcome to Dalal Goumaa for being our Toastmaster today.
Hi, welcome in everyone, and thank you, Gina, for that incredible intro to our meeting today. I mean, what a beautiful way to start off and bring everybody in the room closer and together. So thank you so much for that. And I am going to start us off with our word of the day. Our word of the day today is growth. And really, the main idea is, as much as you can, when you have a speaking portion in the meeting, try to integrate that word into your usage, and we'll tally it up and see who won at the end. No, I'm just kidding. Just whoever can use it more often. And growth means the process of developing or maturing physically, mentally, or spiritually. So try to use that word in as much as you can. And I look forward to hearing the ways that you guys do that today.
Did you say
Next
grow?
up,
Sorry.
oh, no, of course. I'm going to put it in the chat. So it's going to be growth, the process of developing or maturing physically, mentally, or spiritually. And with that, I want to hand it off to our joke master of the day, Ava. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Madam and Toastmaster. So, hi, everybody. I would like to tell you a story about a couple who were on vacation. When this couple went with a group of tourists to visit a crocodile farm, the owner of the place launched a daring proposal. Whoever dares to jump, swim to the shore, and survive, I will give $1 million. Nobody dared to move. Suddenly, a man jumped into the water and desperately swam towards the shore while he was chased by all the crocodiles. With great luck, he arrived, taking the admiration of everyone in the place. Then the owner announced, "We have a winner." After collecting the reward, the couple returned to the hotel. Upon arrival, the manager told the man, "You were very brave to jump." The man said, "I didn't jump. Someone pushed me." His wife smiled. Moral of the story: behind every successful man, there is a woman who pushes him to succeed. Thank you. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Eva, for that wonderful joke. That is too good. I like that. Next up, I'm going to pivot into our functionary role for the day. Each of you, if you could take the time to let us know what you will be doing today. And we'll start off with our counter of the day, Uttam Taha.
I think you are asking for how I'm going to count ah.
Thank you
Yeah, okay.
so yes.
I'll be looking for, thank you, Madam Toastmaster. I'll be counting the filler words, mainly so, you know, and any other filler words, unnecessary filler words that gets into our completing the sentences. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Thank you so much, Saha. I really appreciate it, Uttam. And please don't catch me because I'm gonna be saying a few of those. I can hear myself already. So thank you for being on guard and doing that for us today. Next up, we're gonna have our general evaluator tell us a little bit about what they'll be doing today. Venu.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. General evaluator. Usually Toastmaster meeting is divided into 3 sections. The last section is where we evaluate the team, the meeting, evaluate how everybody has done. And that's general evaluator, that is led by general evaluator. And I am playing the role of general evaluator today. This is the section where we take the reports from all the functionary roles, and I will also give my evaluation report as well. I'm looking forward to have a great meeting today. Back to you, Madam Toastmaster.
Well, thank you so much, Venu. I appreciate that breakdown. And we kind of made it to the heart of our meeting where we share the content for the day, what we'll be, engaging with and continuing on. So I'm gonna hand it over to Gina to introduce our portion, and then we'll go from there. Thank you, Gina.
Yes. Like I said earlier, we are trying out a new format. So this time we are taking a content creator, Dalal, and she's actually going to be sharing an episode that she just recorded today. And I've been listening to her past episodes. You can find her podcast on YouTube. It's called It's Our Time Podcast. And I believe she started just earlier this year. I want to say in January. Is that correct?
Yeah, that is correct. I believe it's been now 2 months that I did my first episode. And I just took the plunge because I felt you guys' spirits there, you know? You guys are like, we're gonna do it. So thank you for that.
So for those of you who are aspiring podcasters, this is the value of a Toastmasters club, is you can work out some of these ideas that you have in your head, put something together and present it, or you can work out the ideas, put it into a speech and present it that way. And this time we're actually going to view and listen to one of her podcasts, which I didn't know you just recorded one, so I didn't put an episode title. So can you share with us the episode title? Do you have a title?
I don't think I have a title yet. I finished recording maybe 5 minutes before the meeting.
So we get to hear this. And then, so your job today is to be a listener and give just honest feedback. So as somebody who is listening to this podcast for the first time, you know, think about the impressions that you have. Like, does everything make sense? We want to help Dalal so that she can refine her message and then just get better as, you know, honing in that message that she's trying to really deliver through this It's Our Time podcast. So I am her evaluator, and I will give an evaluation speech on it, and then we'll also put in a link to a Google form. So I'll be, as you queue up your video, I'll get the link to that and I'll put it in the chat. So without further ado, I present to you Dalal with It's Our Time podcast.
Thank you very much, Gina. I'm going to get it on the screen here and be able to share the sound. Thank you guys for your patience. I am clearly very tech savvy. I'll put the share sound and let me know if you're able to. Awesome.
Yes.
Awesome. Thank you, Benu. Appreciate you guys. Now I'll hit play.
Hello, and welcome back to It's Our Time podcast with your host, Dalal. I am your friend, your cousin, your auntie, or nobody at all. Hey, it's all good. All is welcome here. Thank you so much for tuning in to my podcast and supporting this journey. I really, really appreciate your presence here. Thank you. And I know that this episode took a little bit longer than usual, but hey, that's part of the process. We're learning, we're growing, and we're expanding. Through the hiccups, through the ups and downs, we're going to keep trudging the road. So thank you again. I appreciate you. Today, I wanted to talk about a topic that is very near and dear to my heart. It has affected me. It's affected people I've known and loved, and it affects many people within my community. And it often is a topic that is not talked about openly, vulnerably, because it has many layers to it. It can be a sensitive one, and it's one that I believe our community will be way better off once we shed light on it, allow it to be open, and allow each other to be seen through it. I want to talk about why it's important that we shed light on this topic, and secondly, how it's impacted our communities and what we can do about it. This topic is mental health. It is so under highlighted within our communities. I personally have experienced mental health from a very young age. I dealt with anxiety, with depression, and I went through eating disorders that were really severe in their reality. And I remember the experience of when my anxiety and depression were at their highest points, that I felt very alone, and I felt like it's not something I can communicate openly with. I almost felt some sort of not sh- a little bit of shame, and at the same time I felt like I couldn't talk about it because I didn't hear people talking about it within my community, even though I could see that I was not alone in my experience. Firstly, I remember during those severe times, I was, part of finding help in the American health system, which I found for myself as a woman of color, as a young girl of color at that time. I found those spaces to be unable to really see me, to really understand my experiences with depression, and to give me the kind of help and support that I needed, and the kind of help and support that my family needed in order to really be there for me and to be helpful to my wellness. Why I felt like it was something that we don't talk about is because in our communities we deem mental health as somewhat not important, or that it doesn't exist, or we often hear things like, you really going to therapy? We don't do therapy. Oh, we ought to do therapy. We ought to do therapy. We ought to talk about this openly. I've had also family members that dealt with more severe mental health challenges such as schizophrenia. And these are not light topics to navigate, but if the community is looking at that individual as a 1 in a million, and we want to create a reality in which our communities don't deal with mental health, is really damaging and unrealistic for a multitude of reasons. One of them being that the lived reality of people of color in this climate in the United States, where our bodies, our spirit, our mind, and our reality is subjugated to the fears of others, and we have to live in that reality. And one of those fears that is derived from the other people's projected realities is racism. We are navigating an entity that has immersed itself into literally every fiber of reality. And as individuals of color, navigating this in your day-to-day life requires vigilance, hypervigilance, being aware of your climate, being aware of your environment at all times. And that level of awareness is exhausting, it's straining, and it demands a lot out of your mental capacity. That's number one. Number two, navigating life and maintaining a way to survive in that reality is also difficult, where you're met with challenges of how to create a livelihood, of how to meet your dreams, how to express yourself, how to define yourself. These are not easy things. And thirdly, you have to come to terms with a reality that can be very violent towards the bodies of people of color. And you have to digest this almost continually while keeping and seeing the remnants of that very violent and damaging history of the lived reality of people of color and Black bodies. This is a whole lot on your mental health. This is just one compartment of it, because mental health, with or without those challenges and those egregious realities, is just a part of life. And it is vital that we begin to break down the silence, that we begin to highlight all of our community so that we can all be heard, so that we can all find healing, and we can begin to cultivate resources within our communities that can cater to the wellness of us through our own understanding, through our own unique needs and wants. There's an understanding I can give my community about mental health if I were to seek to become certified in that field. Inshallah, hopefully that is coming down the road. But this is just one way that opening these kinds of conversations is going to assist the possibility of resources actually being created within our communities. Because when we reach outside of our community, we're often met with a lackluster ability to be helped, firstly. And secondly, we are met with a whole slew of negligence. We are met with misunderstanding, and we are met with a lack of being able to be seen at a humane level because of the rhetorics of this society, and such as people of color don't feel pain, our experiences are constantly invalidated, and our children are living in a reality which they are invalidated out of constantly. So it helps us very much to start to talk about these things. And even alongside that, when we seek outside help from a system that is built fundamentally on fearing us and dehumanizing us, it creates opportunities for real damage to occur. For example, when a recent incident happened in California where a young Black child by the name of Ryan Gaynor, who was having an autistic episode, was fatally shot by police when they were called there to assist the family. Now, the family is looking for help for their child, for their safety, his safety, and the safety of his siblings. But when we call in external entities that already subjugate our bodies to violence, that already dehumanize our children, that already see our children as a threat, especially young Black boys, when you have the narrative that they are dangerous, that they are erratic, that they are villains, what we're bringing in is a direct violent reaction and interaction. This has broken my heart, and it's another thing that we have to constantly digest within our community. And there is no way that these kinds of realities do not affect our mental health. So I am sending my prayers and my love to the Gaynor family. This is such a difficult topic to talk about, but it's so necessary to talk about because it's really pivotal and so demanding that we build resources within our communities that can be sought out by us, where we understand one another, where we can be there for the safety, the nurturing, and the understanding and wellness of our families and our communities. Um, let's break the stigma of talking about mental health in the Black community. Let's start to really open this dialogue up, start to make it normal, and begin to see where the work really needs to be done, because we have incredible minds in our communities, incredible doctors, psychiatrists, therapists, and we can also build upon that and train, and the vision would become limitless to how we can really provide mental health support for our children, for our parents, our elders, and ourselves. We deserve to live in a way that caters to the whole being of who we are, and that includes talking about things that society or even ourselves might have deemed not our kinds of problems. But it's not about them being a problem, it's about them being a reality. And often, to do something about it, we got to look at it head on. I encourage us to really start to look further into this. And I hope that we continue to thrive as a community by breaking down the limitations that keep us from the full capacity of our wellness, our health, and our thriving. So, you know what? Stigma or no stigma, let's talk about it. I want to thank you again so much for tuning in and for being here. And I look forward to our next conversation together. Thank you. And it's our time, honey. It's our time. Take care.
Thank you all so much for tuning in. I'm gonna pass it over now. We're gonna pivot a little bit. We're gonna go into which is one of my favorite parts of the meeting. I'm a little biased, but I'm a table topics fanatic. So we're gonna shift a little bit and I'm gonna help me introduce.
Well, let's give a minute to fill out the form before jumping right into there, because we just heard so much, and I thank you for that words of wisdom, sharing your experience. That, it was great, and we would love to give you feedback. So I'm going to copy the link again, just in case you didn't get it or you just jumped in. So go ahead and give feedback for Dalal's speech, and then we'll pass it over to Ritesh.
Wonderful. Thank you, Gina.
Are we good with feedback? All right. We can pass this meeting over to Ritesh, who's our table topics master.
Thank you so much, Jenna and Dalal. It's a hard follow-up for such an informative and such an amazing podcast. Yeah, thank you so much for that, Dalal. So with that, let's dive into the impromptu section, the favorite section of each and every Toastmaster. And let's try to stay on theme. What's today's theme? Content creation. So uh, I should not take the credit. I have Jenna and others who helped me with this topic. So all credit to my fellow Toastmasters. So with that, um, let's pick the first volunteer. I have 9 questions in front of me. So pick a number from 1 through 9. And I'm looking at the first volunteer. Who is my first volunteer today? Thank you, Venu. So just to remind the audience, so table topics is impromptu. I will read the question and I will even share the question on the screen. And the challenge is to talk about the topic at least a minute, maybe 1 to 2 minutes. So let's try to challenge ourselves. So Venu, pick a number from 1 through 9.
7.
7. Thank you. Sharing my screen. So Venu, what challenges have you faced thus far in your aspiration towards content creation? What challenges have you faced thus far in your aspiration towards content creation?
Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much, Table Topic Master. So content creation is something, it actually sounds very easy, but it is not, because there is so much of nitty-gritties involved. And especially for me, there is something which I am trying to do for a long, long time, but I am unable to do it, which is the podcast, which is what Dalal actually did it and showed. And there are so many things that are stopping me. The first is myself. I think I have to make time and I have to keep it aside. Definitely, I do want to talk about this topic, which I always have in my mind, which is exactly suitable to today's how we started. Are we connecting to your soul? What are the ways we have to connect? So that's the topic which I want to talk about in the podcast. And hopefully, pretty soon after this content created club is done, maybe I will go back and I will start the podcast. That's all from my side. So in summary, it's just me. I think I just have to take time and start working on it. Back to you, Table Topic Master.
Thank you so much, Renu. So let this be your inspiration to at least start writing your table podcast ideas. So start writing, and yeah, and within no time you will have a podcast ready. So let's start small and then work our way towards it. So with that, let's let's see who our second speaker is today. Seng. Hey Seng, welcome
Hi.
to the content creators. You have a number to pick, 1 through 9. 7 is taken. So which number do you want to pick?
Number 9.
Number 9. Awesome. So Seng, can you give an example of how feedback has been helpful to your creative ideas? Can you give an example of how feedback has been helpful to your creative ideas?
Well, thank you so much for the question. I think feedback is an opportunity for growth. We all need feedback. And as far as my creative content, what I've been trying to do is to make videos that teach technical subjects, because that's my area. And I have not published it. It's private for a few individuals because I don't want to embarrass myself. So that's why it's not published. Feedback, I have received a few feedback, and I think one feedback I received was that it was, I think, too loud and too fast. And my response for that, well, you have the volume button, you can turn it down, and you have the replay, you can slow it down. But of course, I always appreciate feedback. I don't like to remake something I've already made. So luckily, my audience isn't very demanding of me. So it's just a one take and that's it. But just overall feedback, I think feedback has led me to become a better person, a better presenter, even though at times I may not agree with that feedback, I always tell the person who I'm a member of Toastmaster, when they value me, be as honest as you can. And I'm always looking for a different perspective on how I can improve. So I haven't created that much content, but I do value feedback. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Singh, for reminding the importance of feedback. Yeah, we all start with as bunch of know-it-alls. We are experts. We know exactly how to do things, but feedback is key. Like feedback humbles us, and it will let us in the right direction. So be open to feedback, be open to ideas, and no small idea is small. Yeah, thank you so much for your message, Singh. Now let's pick the next volunteer. Who's ready for the next speech? Who's ready for the next topic? Eva. Hey, Eva. Thank you so much for volunteering. So pick a number from 1 through 8, not 7. 1 through 8.
8.
8. Okay, you made my. Yeah, I think. Yeah, I have it. What kinds of distractions do you think a content creator will face? Can you provide tips to manage them? What kind of distractions do you think a content creator will face? And can you provide some tips to manage them?
Yes, thank you, Mr. Table Topics Master. Definitely, as a content creator, there are a lot of distractions. One of them that I face is that there are a lot of new apps that can help improve your content and also will help you to get your content to other channels or platforms, YouTube, Instagram, and LinkedIn, and all that. But it takes time to learn how to use those apps and to master it and to edit your video or your content to all these different platforms. So I think as a content creator, it's very important to focus in which platform you want to put more attention, and then you want to nurture and to create that connection with the audience. And another distraction also that I see is sometimes that when we compare ourselves with other creators and see that they are getting more successful and you are not getting there despite the time and effort that you're putting there. So that plays a lot in the mind. So as soon as you need to understand that it's you who is how you need to see how you're getting better every day and whether you're taking steps in your own creation and your own time to grow and not compare with the other ones, because it's a different person and a different thing, and you need to focus in yours. So I think these are the two distractions a content creator has, and as soon as you can master that, it will be easier to focus in your channel or your content. So thank you, Mr. Table Topics. Back to you.
Thank you so much, Eva. I think that's a powerful message. Master your distractions and you're on your way to your growth. Yeah, that's a pretty nice message. Thank you so much, Eva. And we will all take that away today. So who is up for the next speech? Uttam, do you want to go give it a shot?
Sure.
Yeah. Pick a number from 1 through 6.
What happened? Oh, 8 is taken. Oh, 7, 8, 9. Good. How about 4?
4.
This is the month of April, month of 4. Let's go 4.
Cool. So, Uttam, here is your question. What kind of content creation are you curious to try, and what ignites that curiosity? What kind of content creation are you curious to try, and what ignites that curiosity?
Thank you, Table Topic Master. I like things that I know. I like to talk about, I like to express, I like to explain, I like to share the things I know. And I have passion. Two things I love besides the work. One is that cooking. Second is I'm also involved in soccer referee, outside of the normal thing. Soccer referee, that gives me some kind of relaxation, but it also teaches me, it gives me an opportunity to grow, because every game I do, I learn something, how to manage them better next time. And that has been a challenge, that has been a growth, that has been a relaxation for me over the last 16 plus years while I'm doing the soccer referee. But at the same time, I also love to cook. At some point, I was thinking to create something, some kind of writing about cooking. And that would be not just follows some recipes, but modify the ingredients based on what I got, close to the recipe, what I got, not exactly follow that. The challenge I faced is the mastering how to get about it, just taking the time, making sure people will like the idea and people will give it a try. Because as you know, that putting out a recipe from New York Times or Bon Appetit by itself is a challenge. But when you make modification, people will say, why should I bother with his, since I get the original one? But probably I'm going to try to write something for myself, my kids, my family, or my fans. Based on what I know. Back to you, Table Topics Master.
Thank you so much, Uttam. Yeah, you already made my mouth water with your message. And I wouldn't call it modification. I would call it inspiration. So get inspired. Yeah, don't try to modify. Don't try to reinvent the wheel. Get inspired. Yeah, I think that's how, that's a better way to look at things. Yeah, thank you so much, Uttam, for your speech. Jenna, do we have time for another topic, or do you want to wrap up?
I mean, I would say if Koshi wants to go, we have time for Koshi to go.
Okay, Koshi. Yes. Koshi, pick a number from 1 through 6. 4 is taken.
You're on mute, Koshi.
5, I'm sorry.
Yeah, we can hear it now. You said 5?
5, yes.
Yes. So, Koshi, what are some ways you believe collaboration is helpful in content creation? What are some ways you believe collaboration is helpful in content creation?
Thank you, Table Topics Master, for this wonderful question. Content creation is indeed very difficult. It involves having the skill set of manipulating various software tools. Like, for example, I want to create a video of how the eclipses how eclipses happen, okay? For that to make, I need to make content for that. I need to have a tool which can be used to draw circles and whatnot, and then position them appropriately, and then have that idea expressed properly. It is very likely that I don't have the skill set for that. I need to help out. No, I need to ask for help. So content creation is indeed a product of teamwork. One single person cannot do that. We need a team of people, each with particular skills to actually make something happen. The person who's going to do the drawing may not be able to manipulate an animation software which is going to animate the slides. We need that as well. Okay, so always there is a need for collaboration in content creation. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Koshi, for reminding us the value of collaboration. Yes, we would like to create the best content out there or the best video out there, but we all need to focus on our strengths, hone in on to our strengths, and rely or collaborate with the people who have those strengths that you want to compensate for, and that's how you make the best content. Yeah, and you're after all a human. You cannot do everything. So as long as you believe the message is right and you focus on the goal, I think you will get the right collaborators. But thank you so much for the message, Koshi. So with that, I wrap up today's fun table topic session and I hand it over to the Toastmaster Dalal.
Thank you so much, Ritesh, for those amazing questions. You really fed my table topics hunger. I'm full right now. And thank you, everyone, for answering so wonderfully. I learned so much. Master your distractions. Don't reinvent the wheel. Venu with the heart and soul. Sang with the how to receive feedback. Koshi and collaboration. And Uttam and that's such a cool with food and then the refereeing. I think that's so unique on its own. So that's interesting. Thank you guys so much. We're gonna hand it over to our general evaluator, and the floor is yours, Venu.
Thank you so much, Madam Toastmaster. We are into the third section of this meeting, which is really evaluating how we have done in the meeting and also how we have spoken. For that, I would like to first invite our functionary roles to provide their reports. First, I would like to call Uttam for the R-counter role. And Uttam, can you please provide how we have done today in terms of speaking?
Sure. I had one hour during my table topics. When we have 2 IM, when you got so excited, and you also had which is, repeated which is. Sang, I think I heard one but everyone, Ritesh beats everyone. He loves souls. He had several of them, but that's okay. It's just only soul. That's all I have.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Uttam. Today, I think since we have Dalal's presentation, we do have a evaluator. So I have to call Jenna, who can give the evaluation for Dalal's podcast or feedback.
Thank you, Venu. Dalal. What an incredible topic that really meets the moment. I know that mental health is a big topic that I love that more and more people are talking about. So for you to bring this out in your It's Our Time podcast is really wonderful. And I appreciate your vulnerability in really sharing your story, who you are, your perspective. And I think that that's what I really love the most about this episode. You talked about mental health and how important it is to really shed light on this topic, especially since for so long you said that there's this stigma, and I loved how at the very end you said, stigma or no stigma, let's talk about it. That was a great way to end that episode. And you had mentioned in there that, you know, for so long, people felt like they couldn't talk about it, that mental health was deemed as not important, or people just said that no, that doesn't really exist. But I think that because more and more people are talking about it, we're having these kinds of conversations that we're having today. We have this content creation club where so many people are really thinking about who they are and what they're most passionate about and what feeds their soul, because I think that we're all looking for this growth within ourselves that you know, this is really healing. And I can tell that this podcast that you're doing is healing for you, and for you to share these revelations and all of these things that you're thinking about. It's not only healing yourself, you're also putting it out there in the world. So you're helping heal other people and different communities. So Venu and everybody else out there who are thinking about these things, just putting it out there, even if only a few people listen to your podcast, you're making a difference. And if not, to yourself, most importantly, really. And I love that how you address the topic of racism, and you're speaking from your point of view. And what I loved about this episode in particular, because I have listened to your past episodes, is that you gave a specific example and that you called out a specific name. You talked about Ryan Gaynor and how he was autistic and he was shot by the police, and how mental health is really important, especially as we think of these situations where things like this could have been avoided. So I really just also loved how you worked through it, and here's proof that you don't have to spend a lot of time on the editing part in the end. Like, we understand, even if you get stuck on a word, like I think you meant to say hyper vigilance, and I didn't write what you actually said, something like hyper vigilance. Even if you didn't say correctly in there, in my mind, I'm like, I know what she's talking about. So for all of us, I feel like, don't get stuck in that perfectionism, that mindset that we were all taught. I know that Toastmasters has a grammarian, but sometimes you just have to realize that we're all human, that we all make mistakes, and it's one word. One word isn't going to break your podcast, right? So you worked through it and you went on. So I just loved it. That shows the humanity in you. If I were to give you some feedback, I would just say call to action. You said it in there kind of in a roundabout way, but just give a direct call to action for that topic. And that's something that the audience can grab on. And I think that since your podcast is It's Our Time, maybe if you're thinking about a topic, this episode in the beginning, it's our time for mental health. So you're setting it up in the beginning, and then every time that somebody joins you, like, that's the way. And I know that you kind of you did it in a way where it almost was like you wanted to reveal it, but sometimes, like, as an audience member, like, I just want to know what that is and then just move on. So great job. Thank you for being brave and putting this out there. I really appreciate you. I will continue to listen to this podcast just because it's helping with my own healing. So thank you, Dalal. Back to you, Venu.
Thank you, Jenna. Such a wonderful evaluation. Dalal might be on cloud nine. She was like, I got great feedback. Next podcast is going to be awesome, right? Thank you. Thank you, Jenna. The next up is, I think I will have to call you upon for timer report, Jenna, but only partially.
Yes, I totally forgot we didn't have a timer, and I meant to start the timer for myself. And as I started talking, I know I went over. Evaluations are the hardest speeches for me because of that time limit. Then I actually did time you because you had been timer for the last two that I was thinking that you were the timer for this time. So your speech was 1 minute and 30 seconds. Sang, I apologize. I forgot to start my timer, so I'm not sure how long your speech was. Uttam, yours was 2 minutes and 28 seconds, which would totally qualify as a table topic speech. Eva, you were exactly at 2 minutes. And Koshi, you were at 1 minute and 24 seconds. So great job, everyone.
Thank you. Thank you so much, Jenna. Now it's time for me to give the evaluation. Jenna, 2 to 3 minutes, please. Okay. So I think this meeting started really great. I mean, out of all the meetings, I really loved this meeting. I'll tell you the reasons for that. First off, it started off great with everyone at the moment. Okay, I really love that exercise. Everybody talking about, oh, where am I at this time? My power, my time, mind, soul, anything, that actually brings the attention to us and it makes us aware. So it's a wonderful exercise. I really love that. Started off with a great note. Second, podcast by Dalal. Amazing podcast. I really love your podcast. You talk from your heart, and it seems like pretty natural to me. All you're doing, it's not like you are studying from a script or anything. It's like coming from your heart, and you are just talking from your heart, which is really really good. I think we should all probably just subscribe. I'm going to do that to your podcast, and we'll just start listening to your future episodes. And then the next great thing was table topics. The table topics really Ritesh took to a different level. So I had to be attentive every time when Ritesh part comes in, because he's summarizing the speech and he's giving a tagline for that speech, which, pretty much, very rare. And I actually, with that, I came up with a small idea of tip for the day. It's like, involving community for the help, set a plan to removing stumbling blocks. Feedback is the key. Mastering your distractions. All that is all stated by Ritesh. So great job, Ritesh, there. Wonderful. I really loved it. And also, we came up with some of the next generation or next content creators who we are going to hear from. Uttam from cooking. We will definitely see Uttam is probably going to do for cooking. Singh already is actually doing for Tech Talk. So we will probably hear from Singh as well. So it's Dalal, obviously you're already there. So wonderful, and it's really and okay, not me, Dalal. Dalal, I know you're trying to put me in the spot, but I'll see if I can do it, but definitely podcast, I'll try. So all this really made this whole meeting is very special. If you look back and see it's every section has been wonderful and amazing. And I know not to forget the joke from Eva, it's like before and behind every man. So just a push. Okay, definitely wonderful. Thank you. And let's all continue the same momentum, and let's all continue to contribute to each other. And that's what this whole club is aimed towards. Back to you, Toastmaster, with that.
Thank you so much, Venu, for that wonderful evaluation. And thank you to each of you for bringing so much to this meeting. You guys are what makes it come together and make it such a beautiful and worthwhile experience. So and then with time you got me on one so right there. So thank you guys so much for being here today. And I would love to put in my podcast, and I'm looking forward to receiving you guys' feedback and looking through it. And yeah, I thank you all for being here today. It has been a great meeting. We're gonna open a little bit for some comments from our guests, some feedback, any questions, and I'll hand it over to Gina. Thank you all.
Yes, thank you. This was such an amazing meeting. I will officially end it at 6:44, but I'm going to stay on for a little bit. If you have any feedback for us, any hopes and dreams for this community, just really, we want to make this something that will be beneficial to you and where you want to be on wherever you are in your journey. So I appreciate all of you and welcome any feedback, questions, anything you may have for this group.
Yeah, I just want to thank everybody again for having me. And thank you so much, Dala, for your wonderful podcast. You know, when I was listening to your podcast, I couldn't help but wonder, wow, what crisp audio, what full sounds that you have in that podcast compared to now as Toastmaster. So I hear the difference. So yeah, just wondering how that's done, but fabulous job on that podcast. Thank you.
Yeah, what microphone are you using?
It is called Blue. Hold on. It's Blue
Oh,
Micro.
that's an amazing one. I've used it.
It is really
That's
good, and
wonderful. It's really good.
it's USB based. So you just plug it in, and I didn't have to play too much with it because I would love to be tech savvy, but I'm not. So the simpler, the better for me. And this one is pretty good.
And I
And
do want to
it's
tell
under
you,
100 too. So for anybody who's just starting off, that was one thing for me too.
your audio is getting better because in some of your earlier episodes, I could tell that like some of your levels of like your S's were really high up there. So whatever you did to change that, it sounded better in the last two episodes.
Wasn't kissing the microphone this time.
Okay.
Sometimes I'm like, but thank you. I've been playing around with the different like gain and patterns and volume. I'm barely acquainted with it. You know, we need to really have some downtime together and really get in there. Yeah, but thank you everybody for the feedback and just, you know, having a safe place to actually show your content without being afraid and actually receiving things that are going to be helpful. You know, that's the good thing about this space is we have the best interest of one another and we want to see each other move forward in that capacity. So I'm excited about it. I really am. And Venu, I am going to put you on the spot because I do want to see your podcast.
It's like Dalal is like, okay. Next time Dalal first she's going to ask you, where is your podcast?
Where is it? We're going to be coming just the same way that, how Toastmasters.
I'm going to Costa Rica, where there is no mobile signal, nothing whatsoever.
Guess what? I'm due for a vacation. We'll be there.
Okay, I'm gonna take my leave. Thank you, everybody.
That's
Thank
it.
you,
Thank
Singh.
you.
Hope to see you again. Thank you for being here.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Thank you, Singh.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
Bye.
Thanks for
Next
showing
time.
up for the consecutive meetings. Much